You're right. I believe everyone can hear me now. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect stuff. Flash?
Yeah, I can. I was just playing with you there.
That first time that ever happened, actually. The whole thing just went dark. So you just the question. So UEFA Nations League. What's your thoughts on UEFA Nations League?
I think we're going to have to warm to it. I think we're going to have to watch it for a bit to see how serious certain teams take it. The jury's going to be out for a while. I mean, it's nice that we're going to get international football, but as an English supporter, we don't need this many games because we got players like Dele Alli, and I mean some of the younger boys. They're going to be burnt out if they're not even looking like proper players at the moment in the Premier League. So, I mean, if we are going to play in these national leagues, then I think we should play other players.
Yeah, interesting. That's kind of echoing as well a little bit what Big Man was saying, that obviously more chances of injuries happening in these sort of tournaments, but definitely going to be interesting to see starting 11s. Right now, from what we've seen, they are starting with their best players. Maybe as the tournament sort of gets going, maybe they will be rotating players. I think it could be an excellent platform as well for young and upcoming players to really make their mark and show the world what they're capable of. Before we start, just want to mention as well, 10Bet is our sponsor for UEFA Nations League and Team Bankroll, and as such we have got a unique promotion code. It is SBR10Bet, North American customers, and then SBR10Bet UK for our UK customers. Just working on one for our European side, and you get up to 50% on €100 or dollars first deposit bonus. Big Man. Some interesting matches on today's slate. Obviously, we covered the matches yesterday. I want to start off with Italy versus Poland. Obviously, the biggest matchup we're going to be talking about. Italy 1.75, draw 3.5, and Poland 6. Italy will be keen on their home turf. Obviously, they're one of the biggest upsets really in the World Cup. The fact that they failed to qualify, they will be wanting to make their mark on this. Poland, however, finished top of their qualification group, ahead of Denmark there. Italy 1.75. Do you think that's a price we should take given their current form?
Yeah, I actually really like this one. This is one of my favorite bets of the day, and I will say I like these matches a lot more than the ones we discussed yesterday. I'm a little bit more familiar with a lot of these teams: Albania, Kosovo, Montenegro. Kind of more in my wheelhouse. Italy. I like Italy here. You look at kind of the renewed optimism for Italy. I mean, they don't make the World Cup, kind of embarrassed. I think we can all agree they were one of the biggest embarrassments of the qualifiers. They bring in Mancini. Now, Natalie, if you know anything about this, playing music in training, Flash will tell you, it doesn't happen anywhere. But this is something that he's supposedly put in music into the training. It's kind of given them a more of a relaxed atmosphere, a lot more optimistic. Everyone's a lot more happy and chipper. I know it's kind of lame to talk about, but I feel like little things like that really kind of grow a team and kind of get them to kind of buy in. And I think Mancini's doing a nice job. I think coming into this tournament, I think they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. This is a good side. I mean, you have plenty of goal scorers up front. Ciro Immobile, Insigne, Bernardeschi, Balotelli. Balotelli, definitely a guy that generally does pretty well in these stages. Still pretty good defense. I mean, you look at even some of the defenders that they just called up, Cecilio, Darmian, Spazanola, all those kind of guys. They're all very good defenders. I think they're a better side than Poland. Poland was embarrassing in the World Cup. Defensively, they're a mess. And they had trouble scoring goals in that tournament.
Yeah.
I think Italy is a chip on their shoulder. I really like them in this match.
Yeah. Italy does have something to prove. Poland, bottom of their group there. I think, though, I know you like Italy. I think it's going to be an unders game. You were talking about goal scorers. Do you think this is going to be a high-scoring game?
I would say it's more high-scoring than low. I kind of have it pegged at like 3-1. I think Poland are poor defensively. I think, at any rate, going forward, they still have guys that are good goal scorers. We all know Lewandowski. But I think Italy, you see the new Italy kind of, you look at the league, you look at Juventus, you look at Lazio, Rome, all these different sides. They're very good going forward. There's a lot of good players going forward, good midfields as well. I think we see more goals than none.
Okay, interesting stuff. So big man predicting an Italy win with goals. Flash, what are you on? Obviously, key matchup on Friday. What do you like?
Love Italy, I really do, and I thought that it was the old adage of close the door once the horse bolted, because I thought they were probably one of the best teams in their group for the last few games, and it was only the way they started their group that cost them for getting to the World Cup.
Yeah.
I thought that Poland, you come to an era with certain individuals and certain squads, and I think that's what we saw with Poland at the World Cup. I think it was just one step too far. With Poland, they normally score goals. They're normally defensively sound. I thought that they were a mishmash in the World Cup. I like Italy. I think that you could go Italy -1.
Wow.
If Italy get on a roll, then they could actually go and do the job in quite convincing style. So I would want to be with Italy, and you could go with -1 as well.
Wow. Well, Giorgio Miguelaccio says I would take Italy -1.5, but Marco Polo, which I seem to be in agreement with him, under 2.5 goals at 1.55 and draw at halftime, priced at 2. Obviously, not from much value to play the unders there, but I was thinking draw at halftime, priced 2, and also highest scoring half being the second at 2.1. I do like that Italy win as well. I think those Italians have
Nat.
something. Yes, big man.
Yeah, I'm quite lost as to why people like the over. I don't think this is the same old Italy side. I mean, like we talked about, they're a lot better going forward. And Poland, even in qualifying and back into the World Cup, I mean, this team was dreadful defensively. I think Flash makes just a terrific point. I mean, some of these teams are starting to get to where the end is coming. Italy, maybe you saw that with some of their players, and maybe it's still coming, but you saw with the Netherlands as well. They're starting to get back up and have an uptick up. Poland needs, I think, kind of restart a little bit. That's a great point, but they've been having issues keeping goals out.
Yeah. Keeping goals out, but also scoring goals. And I just think it's going to be, I think we're going to see a lot of midfield action in this. And I think it's going to be a 1 or a 2-0 or something like that. That would be my prediction. And then in the second half being the highest scoring half. But listen.
No, I would be careful though. I would be careful with that second half, because obviously all these teams are going to end up playing 2 games over these national leagues and that. And if Italy get in front early on, I'm just going to make this up now, that they're 2-0 up at half time, they will be taking players off with 25 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So just to save them for the weekend, and then they'll pass it around. And we could see a lot of these games that they just do drift out to nothing,
Yeah.
So I would be careful about having the second half as a higher score than the first.
All right, words of wisdom from Flash. But listen, I like the Italy win as well, 1.75. But I also like draw at halftime as well. All right, Turkey versus Russia now. Another clip over at Sportsbook Review, so we'll have a graphic for that. Turkey 2.3, draw 3.5, and Russia 3.2. Those odds with 10bet, and make sure to use the special Team Bankroll promo code there for 10bet, SBR 10bet or SBR 10bet UK, depending on where you're coming from. The Russians, obviously surprise team of the World Cup, and I keep referencing the World Cup because obviously that's when we last saw the nations play. The surprise team, many didn't think that they would have qualified if they weren't the host nation. They did prove their critics wrong. They made it to the quarterfinals, losing to Croatia in penalties. Russia, obviously, with a slightly longer price there at 3.25. Should we take that price, or do you think Turkey at home will be a tough one to beat? Start us off, Flash, on this one.
No, you don't take the Russian one, and yes, you do expect Turkey to be very difficult at home, but I think this all points towards a draw.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember that Russia played 95% in front of their home crowd, so every game they had to put up or shut up. They had their backs against the wall. They couldn't have got any worse than they were. I think they were like one of the worst teams that were actually involved in the World Cup, but they did deliver, and they might find a new enthusiasm, a new confidence. But Turkey don't let goals in, especially at home. So I expect this to be a really, really tight game. So the best way to play it for me is take the biggest odds at the start, which is the draw.
Yeah.
And I'd probably look unders as well. And you could probably, if Russia weren't so bad at the back, this would scream 0-0. But I could just see 1-1.
Yeah. Obviously they met recently, didn't they? Russia 1-1 draw. Marco Polo, both teams to score 2. Handship Gaba under 2.5 goals and a 1-1 draw. That's what I'm thinking. 2.02. Flash thinks there's goals on the cards. Do you think there's goals on the cards here, big man?
I'm actually going to look towards Turkey in this match. I think they're a really good side at home. That's a tough place to go play. I'm more interested in Russia at home. Look, we all
Yeah.
know about the World Cup. They're at home. There was possibly some hands in whatever they did. I think we're all well aware of that. This is a different situation. It's not as big a stage. It's on the road, and it's against a Turkey side that are pretty good. They have plenty of high-level players, including guys like Cenk Tosun, those kind of guys. I think they're real good defensively, and that's one problem I have with Russia. They just don't keep many clean sheets. Just one over their last 15 matches. And without that home crowd, I think it's going to be tough for them. I'm going to go with Turkey here at 2.3. I think they find a way to get the job done. This could be a draw. I might have a stake on that too, just to protect myself. But I think Turkey find a result here.
Yeah. Barsaman, Turkey in the under 4.5 goals. He's got odds of 2.25. I bet if you shop around for those, you should be able to get a bit higher if you can get Turkey just at the straight price of 2.310 bet. Also, just want to mention as well that 10 bet offers our North American friends the same options as we get over in Europe. So a lot of the markets as well that we mentioned, these both seem to score in over 2.5 goals, or these sort of more obscure markets than just like the totals and the winners market. Albania versus Israel now. Albania 2.2, draw 3.1, Israel 4 odds with 10 bet. Make sure to use the special promo code SBR10bet or SBR10bet UK for your exclusive Team Bankroll promotion there. Neither team are in good form, and I'm just wondering one of those ones where they say you can't split it. Do you go for that draw? Albania have won 1 in 5, failing to score in 3 of those. Israel have won just 1 in 5, failing to score in 3 of those as well. Are we looking at a draw at halftime? Low scoring, obviously, is very low. Big man, I feel you may be able to shed some light on this match. What are you going for?
Yeah, it's an interesting match because these teams played in last year, and one of them was in Israel. Albania won 3-0. In Albania, Israel won 3-0. So it was kind of a weird group of fixtures. But I think other than going to Euro, I think this has to be the golden age for Albanian football. I mean, most of these players that are high level in Albania are in their prime. Guys like Berisha in goal, Hasai in defense, Beckham Belai up front. I mean, there are plenty of options here. The problem Albania's always had was they could defend, they just can't score goals. And that seems to be the same kind of issue here. I think Israel will struggle to find the back of the net as well. I actually agree. Under looks pretty good. But in Albania, I'm a little bit more inclined to take the Albanians. I think Panucci, the new coach, I like him. I think it was a good hire for them. But the price for Albania just isn't good enough. I'm only getting about 20 cents back on my wager, basically. If I was getting 2.7, maybe I'm interested, but at 2.2, I'm not interested. I'm going to recommend to avoid. Albania still have issues scoring goals, and to win, you have to score goals. But they could find a way here. Israel's not a particularly good side.
What about, I'm just pulling up the odds now, are sort of like an Albania and the under 3.5 goals. You can get that 2.7 10 bet.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a way to look at it. I mean, you do have options. I mean, Armando Sadiku scored a goal in the Euros. Beckham Belai can score. Tolant Xhaka in the midfield. Granit Xhaka's brother. Natalie, I've talked before. Unfortunately, war has really hurt Albania and Kosovo. Yeah. They would be high-level powers if there weren't war. Many of the great European players are from this area. It's tough. I would like, though, maybe Albanian under 3.5. I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, just reading some of the Israel double chance, Marco Polo, Israel plus 0.25. Flash over to you on these two teams. Is it a sort of if you can't split it sort of match? Are you staying away from the match? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I've got first of all, thanks to Big Man for the education on his country, but I think it screams draw. Only because of the numbers. only because of the numbers. I mean, I wouldn't go near Israel. I mean, some of these away sides, I think that Albania have passion about the way they play, and they'll want to get off to a winning start. But only on the numbers, you'd have to go with the draw.
Yeah, yeah. You're also as well a draw at half time, if that's what you were interested in. 1.9 as well, another way to play it as well. Tough match, I think. It's one of those ones possibly in play, but yeah, good advice there from Big Man. Lithuania versus Serbia now. We're in League C, Group 4. Serbia 1.57, draw 4, and Lithuania 8. Obviously, Serbia qualified to the group stage of the World Cup, but failed to make it to the round of 16 there. They were in Group A. I believe Costa Rica was in that group as well. They have experience to get the job done. They should get the job done. If it was at Serbia, priced at 1.57, I would maybe be interested to lay those low odds. I was then thinking Serbia in the under 3.5 goals, 2.1. I'm just nervous about, I'd like to see what sort of team Lithuania and how Lithuania are going to play on their turf before I make my move on this one. Flash, what's your thoughts, Lithuania versus Serbia?
I think Serbia win, and I think going Serbia and the under 3.5 is exactly where you'd want to be at 2.1. Right. Lithuania is one of them sides, a little bit like Newcastle at home in the Premier League when they play against the big boys. They hang on and they try and frustrate, and they don't want to get tonked 5 or 6. I think Serbia, they score goals wherever they go, home or away. They won't be frightened, and listen, they're far superior to Lithuania. So I would expect a 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 game. So I think that 2.1 is better than your 1.57. But I will stick 1.57 in with like an Italy as well in a double.
All right, so strong case for that Serbia win. Do you agree, Big Man?
Yeah, I think this is one of the better bets on the board as well. I've seen Lithuania. I watched them play Scotland twice in World Cup qualifying, and they were awful, and they can't score goals. Lithuania is a basketball country. They're one of the great basketball powers in the world. They're not a soccer country. I like Serbia win to 0. I think you can take some of these and really kind of punt up a little bit and get better prices. Lithuania can't score. There's too much talent on Serbia. We saw that in the World Cup. We saw that with kind of the ability they have lately. Mitrovic is a great talent. Nemanja Matic, players like that. Give me Serbia win to 0 at 2.2.
Ooh. All right. Yeah. Bossman, Serbia win in the over 1.5 goals at 1.9. Handshake Gabba says Serbia to win 1-0. Everyone's like Serbia double result at 2.37. Serbia double result. Okay. Yeah. So liking the Serbia win. All right. Stand corrected. Romania versus Montenegro now. And I will admit I did call Alex. To see what he thought of his Romanian team and how.
Oh, that's going to help you, isn't
it? I think. Well, he actually had a lot to say. I was like, Alex, what's?
Oh, there's a shot.
Romania 1.87, draw 3.2, and Montenegro 6. And if you haven't guessed it, those odds are with 10 bet. He really liked the Romanian win at home. He did. He did say, though, that Romania will be without their fans for a 1-match ban. So that'll be interesting to see. It'll be quite a quiet stage, pitch without the Romanian fans in there. Flash, obviously, you know how obviously the fans can affect your play. Do you think that this will have a negative impact on the Romanian team?
Yeah, without a doubt, because obviously you've not got no home field advantage, as it were. There's going to be no passion. It's going to be slow. I think what price is the draw at half time? Because this could be the worst first 45 minutes, and then they'll need shock treatment at half time to get into gear. I mean, I thought that this looked like a draw anyway, because I wouldn't trust Romania to go and do the job. And now that you're educating us that they're behind closed doors as well. It just says to me that it's a draw at half time.
Yeah. Draw at half time, priced 1.91 with 10 bets. The other thing is, though, I was just looking. You would think that, but I was looking at Montenegro's recent form. Haven't won a match in 6 matches. I think that really, in my opinion, if Romania was playing in front of their fans, I think their price would be lower. I think they've been priced as such because of that reason. And I think that there's value there to take that 1.87. But you're saying draw at halftime there, Flash?
Yeah, that'll be my play there, definitely. 1.91, you're saying?
Yeah.
Just for halftime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that'll give you a run for your money.
All right. What about you, big man? Do you think it's going to be tough there for the home team, not in front of their fans?
Yeah, I mean, first, I do have a question for Flash. Have you ever played in a stadium with no one in it?
I played in where there was like a really dodgy cup competition back in the day, and there was like 350 people in there. And obviously, when you play in the reserve football, you play in front of maybe 50 or 60 people when the stadium holds 40,000. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, a professional game, when it's behind closed doors, you can hear everything. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems real weird for sure. But I think that's going to be a big knock here. I would agree with you, Natalie. If fans were there, I think you'd be getting probably a nice price here, and you kind of just want to run with Romania. But I've saw rankings. Romania is 28th in the world. That seems ridiculous. Romania, 28th in the world. You got to be nuts. Italy's 21st. They're not 7 spots worse than Italy. But again, it goes off current form, which I understand. Montenegro comes into this not playing well. They missed out on obviously the World Cup, which sucked, and they've really kind of hurt themselves since. I don't put a lot of stock into little games against Cyprus and things like that. Montenegro is still a pretty solid side, and against a Romania team that I don't think are much better. I think they're pretty similar. I think 6 is a nice price. I would take a shot with Montenegro here. With no fans, I think it's really going to throw off Romania a bit. I think it's more of a coin flip than anything. And in a coin flip, I'm going to take 6 all day.
Okay. And you don't want to back it up with a double chance or a draw no bet, just in case of that draw?
No. I mean, the stakes, I'm confident a lot of these games, I think I'll have more winners than losers. And I'm willing to submit a unit on Montenegro in the case of whenever you're getting, like I said, draw kind of two teams that I think are very similar. I don't have a problem taking. That's how Burnley made me a lot of money because are they as good? No, but I think they're right up there, and I think they can defend. So I think they're going to have a shot in the game. This could be one of those 0-0ers, and you get an 80th minute goal. I'll take a shot with it.
Okay, interesting. Marco Polo says draw. 2 solid teams. I'm going to go with my boy Alex. He's confident of that Romanian wins with or without fans, 1.87. Finally, we are down to League D. We've got Azerbaijan versus Kosovo, and then also we then will go on to the match Faroe Islands versus Malta. These 4 teams obviously pitted in the same group, Group 3 from League D. So starting off with Azerbaijan versus Kosovo, Azerbaijan 2.04, draw 3.2, Kosovo 4.5. Those odds with 10 bet. Obviously a lot to play for in this game because both fancy their chances of winning their group, obviously pitted with Faroe Islands and Malta, and it's the first time these 2 nations play. I was reading, I think there was a comment I think on the video yesterday, asking, is it sometimes difficult? Actually, no, it was Whale Kappa who was mentioning, is it difficult that when you've got sort of so little to go by? And in some cases I say yes, but this is obviously where our experience comes in and we try our hardest to come up with a tip for this match. So Azerbaijan versus Kosovo, I think it's going to be a close and cagey affair as they really do fight for those 3 points, and I'm wondering whether both will be happy with a point each there with a draw. Start us off, big man. Did you find did you find this match a little harder to cap, being that there is no history between these 2 teams?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the last 2 matches here, I think all these teams are fascinating from a perspective of all these teams are kind of trying to build something, particularly Kosovo, a new country. They brought in a new manager who actually has been a great manager in the Swiss ranks for many years, Chalande. He's a very good manager. They have some real good young players. Balan Berisha plays at Lazio. He's a good player. This is a tough spot. They're going to be inspired. Kosovo is probably the most proud team in this competition, but this is a tough ask to go to Azerbaijan, to Baku, a place that has really become a soccer kind of breeding ground. I mean, Azerbaijan is putting a ton of money into these football programs. They're going to have 40,000 fans there. This is a tough ask for Kosovo. They're still a team that are among the minnows in the world rankings. Really, you look at Azerbaijan's recent play against teams on a similar level: Latvia, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, San Marino, those kind of teams. Azerbaijan took care of business. I think the price is right here. We'll get a fight from Kosovo, but unfortunately, I don't think it'll be enough. I think Azerbaijan at 2.05 is worth a look, but don't sleep on Kosovo. Eventually,
Yeah.
they'll get some players in there and they'll make some noise.
Yeah. Home side there, home victory. Flash, you on the home victory here. Did you find this game a little harder to cap?
No, I didn't find it harder to cap. I thought that you've both hit the nail on the head. So then, first of all, let's go with the points that you made. And it's like, in this group, they're so tightly matched over the course of the period they're going to play that no one's going to want to get beat. And then we go with what Big Man said, and you got Azerbaijan, and obviously a lot of English people have gone out there to coach. I think we've had one of the managers gone over there to manage the national side or be in the backroom staff. So they're going to be aware. And then obviously you've got the 40,000 fans as well. So I'd go with it again with the numbers. And I think that both teams will have a fear of actually winning the game. So I think that you've got to go with a draw. And then if you wanted to just drop out, if you've got the draw after, say, 75, 80 minutes, I do this a lot. So the amount of times that you hang on in there and get done in the last 5 minutes from nowhere is frightening. So for me, I'm probably going to go with a higher number, which is the draw.
So you're going for the draw there, and what after the 70th, 80th minute or something, cash out just in case of that 90th minute goal, which hurt a lot of us in the World Cup, I have to say.
Yeah, well, then that's the big. I mean, if you're getting say 3.2, 3.4 for the draw, it'll be like 1.3, 1.4, 1.35 with quarter of an hour to go. So you're going to make money. You're probably going to end up with making at least 2.5.
Yeah. Well, the other way as well, draw at halftime, so you can get the stress off by halftime and relax for the second half. But yeah, good advice there. I was leaning towards the draw as well. I would have loved Azerbaijan draw no bet, but that was really low. I think it was about 1.4, but I would have loved that bet if the price was right. Faroe Islands.
I mean, sorry, before we go on to this last one, and I will be quick. I liken these teams to low-grade horse racing. And you can't go steaming into them because you cannot guarantee you're going to get the same run week after week. So you have to bring your stakes down a little bit if you're going to play these teams, because they are what they are. They're not ones you can put your hat on and you don't know that they're going to turn up week in, week out.
Yeah. I would say as well, certainly for the first round of Nations League, go in there cautiously. Faroe Islands versus Malta now, League D, Group 3. Faroe Islands 1.75, draw 3.3, Malta 6.5, odds with 10 bet. Make sure, again, SBR 10 bet or SBR 10 bet UK for your exclusive team bankroll bonus there for new signups. Neither obviously the greatest nations in the world, but I certainly think that they'll be fighting for points. Goals could be on the cards. They last met actually in 2013, and it was Faroe Islands that won all three, with Malta winning the last one in 2013. So still a long time since they last played, but goals were on the cards when these two teams. Looking for a Faroe Islands win, to be honest with you, 1.75, just assessing their recent form. But it could be quite an interesting match. What do you think, Big Man?
I like the Faroe Islands in this match. And I got to tell you, another team, I think, on the rise. You look at a team not far away, Iceland, and what they built in that nation. You have a small country here, Faroe Islands, that Nordic area, not a lot to do there, frankly. I think you're seeing a team maybe built like that down the road. A solid, defensive, very passionate group. You look at kind of the weather as well. 50 degrees in the Faroe Islands right now. Malta, not generally used to temperatures of that level. It's not ridiculously cold, but it's not pleasant either. Faroe Islands have done pretty well recently. They're in good form. I think they're a better side than Malta. I personally think it's more low scoring, Natalie. We saw Malta in qualifying against some of the bigger boys. I mean, they're going to just kind of set up to defend. I think this is a 1-0 Faroe Islands win, but I think down the road you're going to see Faroe Islands and Kosovo be better sides, and I think Faroe gets it started here. I like this spot. Give me Faroe Islands in the 50-degree weather.
All right, I will give you it, big man. And I suppose if you're expecting that low-scoring match as well, you could combine it with the under 3.5 goals if you wanted to boost those odds up a little bit. Flash, do you think goals are on the cards for this one?
I think Faroe Islands win, and I was going to put them in with Serbia, and I was going to put them in with Italy. Yeah, I thought that was your treble right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I quite like the Faroe Islands. I think they've got great spirit. They play with an intensity. They try and keep the ball on the floor. If I'm not mistaken, I think they play on the AstroTurf, which is only conducive to playing football. It's no good to just kick and rush and long balls. I think that Malta, when I've seen them in quite a small side. So yeah, I like Faroe Islands, and I'll definitely stick them in with Serbia and Italy.
All right, so full house on that Faroe Islands win. All right, those are the Friday's matches. We're back same time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, covering Saturday's matches. And we will also be here as well on the weekend as well, hangout style, slightly earlier as well, I think, 1:30 Eastern time, both Saturday and Sunday, basically covering every single match there for you guys, hopefully to help with your betting tips. Before I let you go, boys, I just want to know if you've Flash, you've obviously given you trouble there. I like that very much. Do you have a nap, your absolute favourite one?
Yeah, so I think my nap will be Serbia and under 3.5 at 2.1.
Nice. All right. What about you, big man? Do you have a double treble up your sleeve?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Italy as my favorite play. I think they take care of Poland. I'm also going to go. I'll do a little treble as well. I'll go Serbia win to 0. I'll go Faroe Islands, and I'll go Azerbaijan. By the way, one place in the world that I want to visit, Natalie, Faroe Islands. What a beautiful place. Their stadium is beautiful. It's kind of in the Alps, I believe, or one of those mountain ranges.
Not the Alps,
terrific.
no.
Yeah, wherever. One of those mountains. Yeah. One of those mountain ranges over there.
Somewhere beautiful, like the Alps.
Oh, it is beautiful.
Their stadium is literally built like with all mountains around it. It's terrific, beautiful place.
Yeah, I like that Italy win as well, I have to say, and I do like Flash's treble there. So thank you very much, boys. Powered by 10bet, and I'll see everyone tomorrow that was joining us. Thanks for logging into this video and commenting. Appreciate it. And yeah, thank you, Flash. Thank you, big man, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Nat. Thanks, big man.
Thank you.